Okay, hello everyone. My name is Marcellus Krishnandito. I'm from SBM ITB, and I'm here to present my paper about IDXCarbon's potential and efforts in Indonesia pioneering carbon trading as an economic regulatory mechanism to achieve net zero emission in compliance with international commitments. And so, yeah, let's move on. Here we go. The table of contents. First, I'm going to start with a brief introduction, and then literature review, and research methodology, research findings, and then conclusion, implications, and recommendations. So the introductions, the research background. Our journey begins with the adoption of UNFCCC Paris Agreement in 2015, which set a goal for a framework, global framework for reducing carbon emissions. The urgency was underscored by the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development that took place in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. The goal was to create and set the universal goals that addresses the world's urgent environmental, political, and economic challenge. And the inception of IDXCarbon is in 2023 by President Joko Widodo. It's because of the presidential decree number 98 establishing a framework for the implementation of carbon economic value. This regulation was pivotal, marking a significant step towards operationalizing carbon trading within the country. And the regulatory framework development is still its base at the G20 summit in Bali, Indonesia, showcased the roadmap to achieve net zero emission, affirming its commitment to substantial and serious climate action measures. With support from Indonesian Coordinating Ministry of Maritime and Investment Affairs, the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Energy and Minerals Resources, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, the Financial Service Authority of Indonesia, and many more government bodies. And the global context and effectiveness is each milestones reflects a commitment that to transform our environmental policy landscape, setting a clear path towards sustainable development and fostering international cooperation in combating climate change. And my research objectives are to identify an IDXCarbon operational framework which incorporates its infrastructure and trading mechanism, which concedes the question of how does IDXCarbon operational framework affect its compliance with the National Registry System, Financial Service Authority, and applicable regulations. And the second objective is to evaluate the effectiveness of IDXCarbon in supporting Indonesia's target of achieving net zero emission in terms of complying with international commitments. And the question is how IDXCarbon perceive in comparison to the other global markets in terms of effectiveness and fairness in meeting its net zero emission targets and commitments. And finally, the third research objective is to propose a constructive strategy to help raise IDXCarbons while maximizing market efficiency and transparency. And the last question is what strategies and policies do experts and literature recommend to help IDXCarbon advance towards Indonesia's climate goal and promote green technology? And so, yeah, the literature review, we're going to start on the introduction. It's about the assessment of Indonesia's carbon market potential and environment policies. It's because of the rich natural resources and environmental challenges noted by Swadana Fianda Tumiwa and Sari Krulina Sari from 2023 and 2015, because Indonesia's reliance on fossil fuels contrasts with its rich tropical forests, ideal for carbon trading actually. And the international climate commitments, just like I said before, is because of the UNFCCC's Paris Agreement, Kyoto Protocols, advancing REDD plus for forest conservation benefits, and it's from the Ministry of Environment and Forestry 2021 and Ekawati et al. 2019, and the milestone of IDXCarbon, which marks a crucial step in integrating carbon trading with net zero goals, supported by robust regulatory frameworks and multi-sector involvement, from the Deputy Cabinet Secretary of State documents and J. Rahman, both from 2023. And finally, the strategic impact, which aims the drive of regional leadership in environmental governance using innovative market-based instruments for substantial emission reduction, from IMF in 2022 and G. Interesse from 2023. And the second one is Indonesia's energy transition gaps through IDXCarbon implementation. It's mainly talked about the renewable integration challenges, which we have a limited share of renewables in energy mix, complicates the carbon market establishment based on MT Sambodo et al. Of 2021. and the standards of and regulation. There is a need for clear standards, fair pricing, solid rules aligned with the World Bank and IEA guidelines to enhance carbon trading effectiveness based on World Bank in 2022 and IEA in 2020. And the policy and implementation gaps, it's discrepancies in policy goals and actual project support underline the need for enhanced system performance and innovative trading mechanisms. It's based on World Bank and our bets in 2019 and 21, and global best practices for local strategy, because we have lessons from international markets like NZ ETS or South Korea ETS highlights the importance of adapting a successful models to Indonesia's unique context for effective emission reduction. It's based on the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Primary Industries, Ministry of Business Innovation and Employment, based all from New Zealand in 2021, and ICAP in 2023. And strategic positioning, it's on IDXCarbon role in driving regional leadership in environmental governance, aligning with global climate commitments and fostering sustainable practices. It's from IMF in 2022 and Fair Atmos in 2023. The third one is the stakeholder analysis of IDXCarbon initial release. It's started from the inaugural launch by President Jokowi. President Jokowi inaugurated IDXCarbon, emphasizing the role of Indonesia's climate strategy and commitment to direct carbon trading revenues towards environmental protection and emission reductions. It's from the Deputy Cabinet Secretary of State Documents of Indonesia 2023. And successful launch and impact, because IDXCarbon generated 1.8 million US dollars from 27 transactions, demonstrating a significant participation from diverse sectors, including banks and energy companies, underscoring IDXCarbon's vital role in reducing the national greenhouse gas emissions and achieving NDC targets. To add, 15 initial investors are coming from state-owned enterprises, financial institutions, and private companies. And finally, regulatory framework and achievements supported by the comprehensive regulations such as OJK Rule number 14 of 2023 and IDX decrees. IDXCarbon aims to catalyze green practices and sustainable economic development by G-Inters in 2023 and first day of trading success. IDXCarbon showcase that the operational capability of completing transactions involving 459,953 metric tons of carbon units, illustrating its potential to drive Indonesia towards a greener economy and meet stringent environmental targets. Yeah, so now I guess this is the final and the lesson from global carbon markets and technological innovation. The global model for improvement analyzes the established carbon markets like the EU Emission Trading System or ETS and the US EPA's cap and trade program, highlights crucial strategies for refining IDXCarbon, emphasizing scalability and adaptability to meet dynamic environmental and economic conditions based on IA and EU Climate Action 2020 and 2016. Technological advancements of IDXCarbon partnership with ACX leverages blockchain technology, enhancing transparency and operational effectiveness, setting a precedent for digital innovation in carbon trading based on ASLM in 2023. And strategic compliance and market integration, IDXCarbon supports voluntary carbon markets or VCM and national determined contributions or NDCs, allowing businesses to purchase carbon credits to meet net zero targets, emphasizes the importance of integrating stringent monitoring and reporting and verification of MRV practices to ensure market transparency and integrity, based on F. Mulyana, I. Allen in 2023 and K. Anderson in the same in 2023. Challenges and future directions. It's going to be phased nevertheless, and challenges like transparency, credibility. IDXCarbon is implementing measures like third-party verifications to enhance trust and effectiveness. The platform is positioned to significantly contribute to Indonesia's climate mitigation goals and align with global sustainability efforts. IDXCarbon 2023. And so yeah, the chapter 3 methodology, I use qualitative secondary method using descriptive analysis. It's because I will focus on leveraging existing data to avoid the need of primary data collection. This method suits the study due to access restriction and the availability of extensive existing documentations complying with non-disclosure agreements and corporate regulations. The analysis involves a detailed review of IDXCarbon's operational framework, market functionality, and compliance with international carbon market standards. Source includes government and stock exchange documents and insights from initial investors to evaluate the IDXCarbon role in Indonesia's climate strategy and its adherence to the global commitments. The approach is chosen for its efficiency in context with time, financial, and confidentiality constraints, and provides a comprehensive understanding of complex issues through existing data, offering new insights into environmental policy and carbon trading. Move on to the data collection method. I use secondary research approach, utilizes pre-collected data to explore IDXCarbon implementation and impact on Indonesia's climate change mitigation efforts, avoiding direct data collection and experimental procedures. The source of information is from government documents, IDX and IDXCarbon publications, international agreements, academic and industry literature. And the data analysis, because I use qualitative, secondary, descriptive analysis, it utilizes existing data from ones that I said before. Focused on stakeholder perception is because I will explore how IDXCarbon is viewed by stakeholders and assesses the socio-economic impact on the global carbon market. Regulatory and operational evaluation examines the IDXCarbon compliance with national and international environment policies, and of course the effectiveness in reaching and promoting net zero emission. And identification of operational gaps, it highlights challenges and operational inefficiencies of IDXCarbon. The strategic role and international standards, discusses the IDXCarbon role in advancing Indonesia's climate goal and aligning with global environmental standards. And the foundation for future improvements, it provides an insight for enhancing IDXCarbon's market-driven environmental governance. So now, research finding, chapter 4, the analysis of IDXCarbon operational framework, regulatory compliance, and market functionality. First, we're going to start about the integrated approach of incentivized emission reduction. So we have two sides, the disincentive and the incentive. Carbon pricing reduces greenhouse gas emission. With the disincentive, it's going to have an additional cost for higher emitters. The incentives reduce costs and the additional revenue for those who reduce emission, because IDXCarbon applies the polluter pays principle, and the trading system is done on the emission trading system, or ETS, crediting or offsetting mechanism, and the penalty mechanism is called carbon tax. And there are two types of carbon market. This is the second part. First off, we're going to start on the emission trading system. The method is cap and trade and tax, and the carbon unit sold is the PTE, or emission technical approval, or carbon allowance in simple. The carbon unit is number PTEs by sector, issued in accordance with the emission upper limit or the cap of sectors covered by the ETS, and the PTE's distribution is free allocation depending on historical levels of emissions, or BAU emissions, and or auction. And the sellers is companies with excess emission permits, and the buyers is companies that lack emission permits. And the second one is carbon crediting or offsetting, or VCM. The method is baseline and crediting. The carbon unit is emission reduction certificate and or carbon offset, or Indonesia SPE. And carbon unit creation is SPE are issued by following recognition of emission reduction efforts from a company that does not have an emission reduction obligation, or green projects with measured carbon sequestration or avoidance. And the sellers are companies that do emission reduction efforts or green projects, and the buyers are companies that want to obtain the carbon offsets. And the third part is the IDXCarbon part in Indonesia's carbon reduction goal. It's ratified by the Paris Agreements in 2015 or 16, and the idea Indonesia's set enhanced NDC by September 23 to decrease the greenhouse gas emissions by 31.89% up to 43.20% in 2030, and Indonesia is set to have net zero emission by 2060 or sooner, and the sectors included in the enhanced NDC scope by 2030 is the energy and fugitive, waste, IPPU, agriculture, forestry, and other land uses. And you can see the breakdown of percentage, and the moving on to the Presidential Regulation 98 of 2021 of carbon economic value in achieving the NDC. Mechanisms for achieving the NDC is mitigation action, adaptation, carbon economic value, and carbon trading, performance-based payments, carbon levy or tax, or other mechanism. And the regulation of Ministry Environment and Forestry Regulation number 21 of 2022 concerning the implementation of carbon economic value, it said about the carbon trading can be done domestically and or internationally. Form of market mechanism is emission trading and allowance trading, which consists of GHG or greenhouse gas emission offset and credits trading. And carbon trading could be done through carbon exchange or direct trading. And here is the trading mechanism. We have four. IDXCarbon has four trading mechanism currently. It's auction, regular trading, negotiated trading, and marketplace. So for the auction, regulators and project developers create an auction and submit auction details, including minimum price. Buyers will place the desirable volume at minimum price or higher, and the regulators and or project developers decide allocation. Regular trading, buyers and sellers submit order volume and price. Buy order will queue in bid order book. Sell order will queue in ask order book. Exchange will match the order with price and time priority. The match price will be the market price. And negotiated trading. Buyers and sellers make a deal outside of the exchange. Participants submit a range, volume, price, and counterpart to execute the trade, and settlement will be done in the exchange. Marketplace. That's the final trading mechanism. So it's about the project developers input project and price in the marketplace. Buyers browse in the project and buy preferred project with designated volume. Transaction price will be done at set price. And the IDXCarbon market design, we have the supply side, demand side, and the trading side. So let's start with sectoral trading for compliance purpose. From the supply side, the allowance is from the allocated by the related ministries and access from compliance company. It will create carbon credits generated by project developer or company in the subsector, which the product is called PTBAEPU or the allowance, and from an SPEGRK or carbon credits, and it's done inside the carbon exchange. And the demand side is from compliance companies in the subsector regulated with emission allowance. And after sectoral NDC has been met, the cross-sectoral trading for voluntary purposes. From the supply side, access carbon credits generated by project developers or companies, and after claim by sub-sectoral NDC, the carbon exchange will sell SPEGRK strictly. Only carbon credits is sold. And for cross-sectoral trading and carbon, the demand is from carbon credit buyers, domestic and international. Moving on to the IDXCarbon product comparison. From the allowance market cap and trade or perdagangan emisi of the PTBAEPU, the allocation is effective free allocation or via auction mechanism and registered in SRN. The product is sold by tons of carbon dioxide. The trading period is 1 period different for each subsector. For banking, it's 2 years. The retirement or the ending of compliance period is subject to related ministries. The trading actors is buyer and seller from the compliance companies. The series is one serial for each subsector for each period. Market is the auction market, continuous auction board, and then negotiated board. The settlement is instantaneously or T+0. The trading participant is direct trading. Clearing is gross, and it's included, and risk management is pre-validation and pre-funded. Everything's real price. And the offset market or the SPEGRK, the allocation is after project verified, and SPEs is issued by the SRN. Same is sold in the form of each ton of carbon dioxide, and trading period can be done continuously, traded until retired. And the retirement is retirement from buyer. And trading actors are sellers, project developers, second-hand buyers. Buyers are not limited, including compliance companies. The series is standardized products is from NBS or nature-based product in Indonesia and Indonesia's NBS global verification. TBS or tech-based product, Indonesia's TBS, Indonesia TBS global verification, and credits per project. The market it's going to be done on continuous auction board for standard products, and the auction market project, marketplace, and negotiated board for the rest. And the settlement is instantaneously the same. Trading participant is direct trading. Clearing and risk management is all included. It's gross, pre-validation, and pre-funded. The IDXCarbon product features. Here is the how do you see the PTBAEPU is formed from Ministry A to Sector A, and it will create allowance A in year 20. Let's say, for example, year 2022X, for example, and it's going to be bought by compliance company Sector A. Same with Ministry B. And for the SPEGRK, we have two products: the single project and the standardized project. The project A is going to be get verified by the SRN. It's going to get a certification. It's going to be a carbon credit A that's going to be sold to the compliance company, non-compliance company, and project developers. And from the standardized project, it's from project A to B and C. It's going to get same certification from the SRA. That's going to create the credits A, B, and C, and it's going to be classified as NBS, NBS Global, TBS, and TBS Global. global via regular and negotiated markets. Okay, so and moving on, the carbon IDXCarbon regulatory compliance. The IDXCarbon operates under strict regulatory framework established by Indonesian laws and is closely supervised by the Financial Service Authority or OJK, ensuring adherence to national and international standards. As a licensed carbon exchange, IDXCarbon facilitates both local and international trading, offering a secure platform for registering and trading carbon units with comprehensive oversight by the OJK. The platform serves as a critical hub for carbon trading, attracting a diverse group of users and enabling the exchange of credits in compliance with stringent environmental and safety standards. And OJK's tight regulations and oversight of IDXCarbon ensure the integrity, transparency, and efficiency of its operations, supporting Indonesia's climate goals and enhancing its position in the global carbon market. So moving on to the 4.2, the IDXCarbon strategy, effectiveness in comparison to other global carbon markets in Asia is because, firstly, IDXCarbon supportive ecosystem by Indonesia's related ministries. Indonesia's proactive implementation of CCS or CCUS technologies enhance IDXCarbon's role in the carbon credit market, enabling the trade of credits from these technologies to boost market credibility and attract investments. Scheduled to begin in 2026, and CCUS projects under Indonesia's announced pledge scenario aim to sequester millions of tons of CO2, positioning Indonesia as a key player in regional carbon storage. IDXCarbon's integration into Indonesia's net zero emission strategy is strengthened by significant investments in CCS and CCUS projects and supportive regulatory frameworks enhancing its global standings and operational efficiency. The capacity for large-scale carbon capture and storage position IDXCarbon to meet ambitious national and international climate targets, driving forward Indonesia's sustainability and emission reduction objectives. And the comparison to regional carbon markets in Indonesia, as you can see, IDXCarbon ticks 8 out of 10 boxes here because we have a local market integration, government backing, high quality verification, transparency and fairness, stakeholder engagement, direct market access, regulatory compliance, and innovative trading solutions compared to other markets like Bursa Malaysia, Korean Exchange, Climate Impact X, Climate Exchange, and ICE. And finally, chapter 5, the conclusions, implication, and recommendation. The first conclusion is IDXCarbon's robust operational framework and trading mechanism ensure compliance with national and international regulations, enhancing transparency and market operations. This solid foundation positions IDXCarbon as a reliable and authoritative player in the global carbon market and Indonesia's climate strategy. And IDXCarbon, the second research conclusion for the second question is IDXCarbon effectively advances Indonesia's net zero emission goals by providing a flexible carbon trading platform aligned with international commitments, yet it faces challenges in market liquidity and diversity of financial instruments. To enhance its effectiveness and competitiveness globally, IDXCarbon must integrate more advanced technologies, broaden sectoral engagement, and increase international cooperation. And the final conclusion for the third research question is to enhance IDXCarbon growth and impact. Strategic improvement focusing on regulatory strengthening, technological advancement, and market expansions are essential. These actions will bolster IDXCarbon's global integration and effectiveness, crucially supporting Indonesia's transition towards a low carbon economy and meeting its climate targets. For implications, there are two implications. The first one is practical. The strategic integration, policy enhancements, market participation, technological upgrades, and finally the international collaborations. And the theoretical is literary contribution, emerging market adaptations, and application of principles advancing environmental economics. Finally, the recommendations for future research should focus on a longitudinal study of IDXCarbon to assess the impact of evolving policies and technologies and conduct comparative analysis with other Southeast Asian carbon markets or other international markets for deeper insights. Interviews with stakeholders and experts could offer detailed views on internal operation and strategic decisions. Thank you very much. That is all from me, and yeah, thank you.